another day, another country. Kind of, but not quite. I am in Bali, Indonesia this week, actually for about a week and a half. And, I say that jokingly, but I, of course, know that I'm very fortunate and I'm very grateful to be here. I submitted a paper a bit over a week ago to a journal, and I'd been working on it for about 2 years. So I planned this little break as sort of a working holiday so I could get some work done here, but more strategic stuff. So taking the time out to read business books and think a bit more strategically and higher level about the business while in a beautiful place like this. And I told my mum that I was going to come here, and she asked if she could come with me, and I was like, absolutely, yeah, this is perfect mother-daughter bonding time. So yeah, I'm spending 10 days in Bali, Indonesia at this beautiful resort. Again, I'm very lucky to be here as I know it's off season, so it's a little bit cheaper. I'm here with my mum, so it's a bit more cost effective, but I find it's really helpful to be able to get away physically within the means that you can. And as you know, I work mostly remotely, so it's something that I need to make the most of while I can. And so yeah, you can join me in my little work getaway in Bali, and most of the time I'll just be honestly reading and thinking and journaling and planning, and then doing emails and stuff. But I'll also be doing a bit of tourism while I'm here, so I take you along with that as well, and you'll get to meet my mum. Lucky you. A lot of boys have not. So I hope you enjoy this trip with me, and maybe it inspires you to come to Bali as well. We were really fortunate to be staying at a really nice resort at Legian, which is a beach area between Seminyak and Kuta, if you're familiar with Bali. There were 3 pools, it was right next to the beach, and the breakfast had so many different Indonesian, Asian and Western foods. The breakfast buffet was actually a highlight in itself. I loved trying all the Indonesian food, but don't ask me to tell you what anything was called. This is not a food vlog. Ubud is a town a couple of hours inland, known for its cultural heritage and natural beauty. Think rice paddies and green forests. We went on a day tour that included a nature walk, coffee tasting, and visit to a rice paddy, but honestly, it was a little bit disappointing because most of the rice paddies have been replaced by tourist accommodation. I think next time we just need to do more research on the better places to see in Ubud. Spirituality is very important here, and actually Bali is the only Hindu majority province in Indonesia, with around 87% of the population adhering to Balinese Hinduism. In the rest of Indonesia, most people are Muslim. We saw lots of temples and Hindu statues and offerings with incense in the street. This was another highlight of the tour, coffee tasting. You know how I need to feed my coffee addiction, and this experience included 5 different coffee and 5 different tea tastings. Rice paddies have a millennia-long history, originating in China and the Indian subcontinent before spreading across Southeast Asia. Advanced irrigation techniques enabled cultivation in diverse landscapes, shaping societies and traditions. Today, rice paddies remain vital, although this was actually a fake rice paddy made for tourists, so I don't know how I feel about that. And when we did this tour, it was actually Valentine's Day. What better way than to spend it with Mum? This is going to keep happening. It is just so humid here. Okay. Well, we're back with another episode of Influences in the Wild, but the joke is that I obviously don't influence anyone yet, unless it's an AI security, in which case I hope you're very influenced to care about it. But we're about midway through my trip right now in Bali. I'm sitting at the resort here, next to the pool, but out of the way a little bit so that I don't look like a total weirdo. It's been good. I found it really hard initially to sort of get into the right headspace of whether this was more of a holiday or a working holiday, and obviously I'm here with my mum as well, so I want to make the most of my time with her and be present when we're together, which is all the time, which has been lovely. So yeah, it was the first few days were a bit of a struggle, just trying to figure out a good balance and a routine, I guess. And it's not like I really need a routine when I'm here, and there's nothing wrong with not having a routine, but then I also like feeling well, I want to make sure that I'm still eating well and I have a little bit of routine and I'm still doing some exercise every day, but I'm being productive in a way that makes me feel balanced and happy. And obviously it is such a luxury to be able to do something like this, be able to come to Bali on a working holiday. And I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, I felt a little guilty as well, not feeling as grateful to be here and as enjoying it as much as I wish that I was. And so in the end I sort of chatted to a couple of friends back home, and I really had to think about what it was that I wanted to achieve while I'm here. And again, you don't necessarily have to achieve anything when you're on holiday or a trip, right? But what were the things that I wanted to prioritize while I'm here, I guess, is what I wanted to think about. And I didn't necessarily want it to be the kind of trip where I'm just on my laptop all the time responding to emails, because it could easily be that, and I could easily spend 8 hours a day just writing emails and replying to emails. But I really wanted this trip to be about taking the time and the mental and physical space to just not be at home and be able to think a bit differently and a bit creatively. I brought a bunch of books. I brought 4 paper books, and then I obviously have a full library on my Kindle as well. And I've already read 2 of them now, 3 if you count the sort of novella on my Kindle about survey design, which was really fun. So yeah, just prioritizing being able to do reading like that. Think about what I want to do with my business and my research and with my life, I guess. And I ended up actually deleting the Instagram app, which I've never really done before and I've never really felt the need to do, but I did find that just having it on my phone meant that I was often mentally distracted. It was just always something that I could open and look at, and there are obviously a lot of influencers that I follow that I kind of care about what they're doing and I was interested to see, but it meant that every day I was sort of oh, what's so-and-so doing, or what's so-and-so doing, and how's my own Harriet Hacks account doing, because this is the first month that I've actually scheduled content to come out every day. And yeah, it is scheduled. I'm obviously not sitting every day doing that stuff, especially while I'm here. But so yeah, and sort of replying to people back home. I love obviously keeping in touch with my friends, but I just found that a lot of work people were messaging me as well, and I just wanted my mind as clear as possible. So yeah, I ended up deleting it, and it has actually been really nice. I've never really thought that I would have a social media addiction, but just even noticing not having that mental burden it's felt like it's been a big difference actually. So the last yeah, a few days of the trip have been a lot better. And tonight I'm dressed up a little bit because I'm going out to a little bar crawl that Mum isn't coming to, probably for the best, because I wanted to see some of the nightlife here while I'm here and have the chance to do that. So it includes like four bars and then a club. So we'll see how long I last. But I do love a bit of a dance, so it'll be fun. And then I will talk to you maybe tomorrow or later in the trip. But it's crazy how quickly it's going. So yeah, talk to you again later.
Can we have some? You've never been to Bali before?
No. I just got back from the gym, but I thought I'd quickly show you the books that I'm reading on my trip. So the first one, alright, I'll go in order because I've already finished this one. So it's Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, and it's actually really interesting. It's all about sort of taking a critical gaze on lots of people that we glorify for being extremely successful. So people like, I don't know if it says on the back, people like Bill Gates, different athletes, scientists. Actually, let me try and... who was in here? A lot of them are not necessarily famous people. Obviously, Bill Gates was a famous person, but it was sort of looking at how statistics and the time of, like, the period of time where you're born in, so like a certain era, makes a really big difference in how successful you are, and that it's not usually just the stereotype of a lone genius, but it's so much more about the community that people come from. So that was really interesting. I think it was sort of missing like a so what chapter at the end, so now I have to go and like, I don't know, do some journaling about what the so what of that to me is. The other book that I'm reading at the moment, Richard Branson, Screw It, Let's Do It. I've already read both of his biographies, but I saw this in like a secondhand bookstore as I was on my way here, and thought, yeah, this will be, I just want a little bit of motivation, like a little easy read while I'm by the pool. That's also, you know, educational and inspirational, but not too long a read. His autobiographies are quite long. I've got my one of my birthday cards as a bookmark in here. Love that. Schnauzer vibes. And it's good, but it's also, like, I find Richard Branson a really inspirational leader, but also the way that his books are written are very much like, well, I decided to found an airline, so I did. You know, like, he doesn't really go through his failures. He really only talks about his successes. So I'm not going to assume that he had many failures, but look, everyone does. So he sort of skims over it. But it's still really, really good. And I like his philosophy about sort of being able to have fun in business as well. And then this is the other book. Everyone seems to be reading this at the moment. Every time I open Instagram, people are reading this. So, of course, I had to read it. I'm a bit over halfway through now. And it's enjoyable. Like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the next Twilight. And, like, it's good. Wouldn't say it's, like, the best book I've ever read, but it's really enjoyable for when I, you know, reading these during the day and then I just want something lighter to read as I'm going to bed. For those of you who haven't heard about it, it's basically like just it's a fantasy book. I shouldn't say just a fantasy book. Like, it's a great fantasy book, written by Rebecca Yarros, and it's the first in the series, and Fourth Wing basically refers to the protagonist becoming a rider in sort of the military for this fictional world, and the wing that she's in is Fourth Wing. And there's a bit of romance in there, but it's not too sexual or anything. It's just like, it's cute. And then this is the book that I will be reading on the plane, unless I end up editing this vlog. We'll see, maybe I'll be able to do both. But back when I was younger, I really wanted to be an author. Like, that was my main career goal. That's the career I wanted to have. And I started writing a book, and it was called Cobalt Blue. This is actually called Cobalt Blue, but the T has rubbed off. This is also from a secondhand shop. And so I saw this in the store, and Matthew Raleigh is always good. So I thought, I have to get it. He beat me to it, but that's okay. No, I won't tell you what the book I wrote was about. So this should be fun. Anyway, that's it. So we also went on this tour to Uluwatu Temple that included a Kachak dance performance. We weren't sure why it was called the Kachak dance, and now we do. The sunsets here were beautiful, and most days I came out by myself to do a beach walk at sunset. And just like that, it's over. I had a great time. Work-wise, I finished 3 books, watched a sales course, and did a lot of reflecting. Tourist-wise, I saw a lot of Balinese sites, but I definitely want to see more next time. But at the end of the day, even though this was technically a working holiday, I believe stillness, rest, and time out are really important for everyone. There is no inherent right or wrong in either being productive or doing nothing, and I keep reminding myself that. Sometimes it's important to just be, and on this trip, I was really grateful to be here.